you wrote for the Green Arrow Black Canary comic book. How is it different writing the comic book incarnations versus writing the TV version?
Well, you get paid a lot more to write the TV version. Our take on the character in the TV show is a lot more grounded and realistic than he's ever been portrayed. Certainly in the comic, in the comic book, he really is part of the DC universe, with the Justice League and Superman and Batman and Count Vertigo and villains with superpowers. And for the TV show, we've done away with a lot of that. That the only vigilante or the only masked hero in the world is Oliver Queen, and there are no aliens and there are no supervillains, and it's just a much more realistic take on the character. So that's really been the big difference. Writing is writing, and storytelling is storytelling, and whether it's TV or comics, you always want to tell the most emotional, most exciting story you can. But it's really our take on the character that's the big difference.
So they screened the pilot on Wednesday night during preview night.
Yes.
Fan reaction, seems to be very positive so far with everything that we've seen and heard. What is your reaction to the Comic-Con take? I guess
it's been surreal. I mean, I'm a huge genre fan. I've been coming to Comic-Con for the last 13 years, and it's surreal to see something that I wrote now on taxi cabs and bags and posters, and to be here with Stephen and Katie. It's just great. I mean, I love Comic-Con. It's just it's Christmas for people like me and you. And to be contributing to that and to see people be excited for Arrow, especially in the summer where there are so many exciting things between the Dark Knight and the Avengers, and to hear people excited for us too, just it's really special.
When the project was first announced, there was some talk about the fact that this was being done so soon after Smallville had Green Arrow. Was there a conscious decision on your part to kind of separate the character as much as possible from what we did see on Smallville, or is that never really crossing your mind?
For us, we were starting from scratch, the whole time. I think there was a lot of, public speculation about it, more so than it ever was on our part. And that's not to dismiss what they did on Smallville. I mean, I was a huge fan of Smallville and loved the show, and I, certainly love Justin's take on the character. Our Oliver Queen, aside from the, him being a playboy who was shipwrecked on an island and came back with a mission of social justice, that's about where it ends between, Justin's version and Steven's version. And, one doesn't obviate the other. Justin's version is there for people to enjoy, but we wanted to do something, where you could come to it clean, where you didn't need the Smallville connection, and hopefully the people who enjoy the character on Smallville will give us a chance. Like one of the great things about superheroes is that, you can love the Michael Keaton version of Batman, you can love the Christian Bale version of Batman, and you can love the Adam West version, and they're all great, and one doesn't obviate the other. So, hopefully people will tune in.
There's a moment in the pilot where I think it's Laurel says that her father says to always stay within the law. Mm-hmm. Is this a reference to her mother by any chance?
No, it's really, yes, I know what you're saying. No, it's really to help set up the dynamic of, what the series is about and exploring what it really means to be a vigilante, and setting her father up as the chief antagonist to Oliver. I mean, every week Oliver will be facing a bad guy, but the truth is his real nemesis is Detective Lance, who's trying to bring him into justice. And Detective Lance, who, over the course of the series we'll learn, has suffered some, devastating emotional losses. He's really thrown himself into his work, and, the only way he can sort of see to keep his sanity is to really believe in law and order. And somebody like the Arrow comes along who is operating outside the law, and whether he's doing it for good or bad, it doesn't jive with Lance's worldview. And his daughter is going to be caught in the middle because she loves and respects her father, and she's always believed what he believed, but at the same time she's going to see this this dark urban legend out there that's actually doing a lot of good, the kind of good that she wants to be doing in her role as a legal aid attorney. So, the show is all about triangles, and not just love triangles. It's always, we always want somebody caught in the middle of a philosophical debate. So that's where that line comes from.
What David mentioned about other characters from the DCU going to be appearing, but as sort of normal folks, some rumors of which ones are there. You've written for DC Comics. You wrote Batman. Bruce Wayne was. You wrote some Batman, didn't you? And,
I did.
Yeah, and Bruce Wayne was rumored to go in Smallville, and then I've heard a rumor about Arrow. Might he make an appearance?
I don't see that happening anytime soon. One of the great things about DC and the DC universe is that there are a lot of characters there, and we don't want to do anything that's going to outshine Oliver, because he really is the main focus. But what's fun for us is, there are plenty of characters in the DC universe that are sort of like huge fan favorites, and we're looking forward to whether they were associated with Green Arrow or not, and we're looking forward to introducing them on the show. There are going to be a few announcements today, but if you see the pilot, there's an image early on that's a fairly big indicator of where we're going with one of the characters, and that individual will for sure be making an appearance.
In scoping of the season so far, are you having any difficulties trying to balance the mythology thread versus the episode of the week storylines, or are there some episodes that are much heavier with mythology so far that you're finding, or is the balance going okay?
I think the balance is going okay. One of the things we designed in the series is that there are flashbacks in every episode, and they're in chronological order. So just having that has sort of given all the episodes a spine, and having that flashback story speak to the present day story. Again, we're huge genre fans. Buffy is my favorite show of all time. So, and Doctor Who. So, I worship at the altar of Joss Whedon and Stephen Moffat. So, I think you'll be seeing that sort of, in the same way that both of them are so clever about, making sure every episode is enjoyable on its own, but then giving you enough to sort of and connect the dots. And, it's very important for us to sort of we don't throw plates in the air without having a way to catch them, so hopefully that as the series progresses, you'll be able to look back and even into the pilot and go, oh my God, that's why they did that, because that's certainly been our intention.